right, ready to dive in. Today, we're tackling interest.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
It is actually,
Yeah.
and important. We're not just talking about, being interested in something.
No, not that kind.
This is about the interest that makes your money grow.
Or shrink, unfortunately.
Right, exactly. We got some great resources from the Corporate Finance Institute.
They really break it down.
They do. And basically, there are three main types of interest we need to understand. Simple, accrued, and then there's compound interest.
Everyone wants that compound interest.
For a good reason.
Yeah.
But got to understand all of them.
Absolutely.
So first up, simple interest.
Play it on us.
Well, think of it kind of like renting money. You borrow an amount, that's the principal,
Right.
and then you pay a percentage of that as interest, usually each year.
Yeah, and the key with simple interest is it's always calculated on that original principal.
Doesn't change, even if you've already paid some interest.
Exactly. So say you borrow $1,000 at 5% interest.
You'd owe $50 every year, no matter what.
Simple as that. The source actually uses an example of $2,000 at 3%.
Oh, right. So in their case, it'd be $60 each year.
Yep, same idea though.
Okay, so simple interest, pretty straightforward.
Now things get a little trickier.
Accrued interest. This is where it can get, I don't know, almost sneaky.
Sneaky is a good word for it.
So it's not paid at set times, it just keeps building up.
Like a tab at your favorite coffee shop.
Ooh, good analogy. You keep getting lattes.
Charges add up, but you don't actually pay until later.
Exactly. Accrued interest is all that interest that's building, but you haven't paid yet.
And the source points out this is different from simple interest because
It doesn't wait for a specific due date, it
Yeah.
just keeps growing.
continuously.
And that's what can make it kind of sneaky if you're not paying close attention.
For sure. It's an important distinction to understand. Yeah, especially with things like, credit card balances
Ugh, don't remind me.
or mortgages where the interest accrues daily.
Okay, so moving on before I get too stressed.
To the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Compound interest. This is where it gets really interesting.
This is the big one.
The one everyone wants to understand, right?
Absolutely. Compound interest, it's like interest on your interest.
Wait, explain that again?
Okay, so you're not just earning interest on what you originally put in.
The principal.
Right, but you're also earning interest on the interest that's already built up.
Whoa, so it keeps growing faster and faster.
Exactly. It's like, have you ever heard that saying, the eighth wonder of the world?
I think so.
Yeah, that's compound interest.
Makes sense. So the source had an example, right?
They did. Say you invest $1,000 and the interest rate is 5%.
Okay.
With simple interest, you just get $50 each year. Easy peasy.
Right, we covered that.
But with compound interest, that $50 gets added to your principal.
So the next year, you're not earning interest on $1,000 anymore.
You're earning on $1,050.
Oh, I see. So even though the rate stays the same,
You make more money each year.
because your principal is bigger.
Exactly. And the longer you let it go, the more dramatic it gets.
Yeah.
So 10 years of compound interest is way better than 2 years.
Way better. The source had another example with $5,000 at 4% interest.
I'm listening.
First year, you get $200. Not bad.
Right.
But then you're earning interest on $5,200 the next year, and so on.
So it just keeps building and building.
It's like a snowball effect.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right. It just keeps picking up more snow, more money in this case.
But wait, if it's so powerful, why isn't everyone rich?
That's the thing. It's not magic.
What do you mean?
It takes time. Compound interest, it's a long game.
Patience, you're saying.
Exactly. The real magic happens over the long term.
So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Nope. More like a slow and steady wins the race kind of thing.
So the earlier you start investing, the better.
Ideally, yes. But
Uh-huh.
even if you start later, consistency is key.
Keep adding to your investments. Let it grow over time.
That's the idea. But okay, you brought up something interesting before.
I did.
Yeah, about compound interest working against you.
Oh, right. It's great for growing savings, but what about debt?
That's where it can be a real problem.
So instead of my money snowballing, it's my debt that's out of control.
Basically, yeah.
Mhm.
If you have a lot of high interest debt,
Credit cards, things like that.
exactly, that interest can compound and make it really hard to catch up.
That's scary,
It is, which is why it's so important to understand how it works.
both for saving and for managing debt.
Right. Knowledge is power, like they say.
The compound interest, it's a powerful tool.
But you gotta use it wisely.
I'm definitely seeing my own finances in a new light now.
That's what we like to hear.
Even small changes can make a big difference thanks to compound interest.
Absolutely. It all adds up.
Yeah, it's kind of eye-opening, right? All these little things adding up over time.
It is, and that's why understanding these types of interests, like, it's not just theoretical.
No, it's about making smarter choices every day.
Exactly. Like, think about taking out a loan.
Ooh, yeah, big decision.
Right. Whether it's for a house, a car, even student loans.
All that interest can add up.
It really can. Knowing how it's calculated, that can help you pick the best option.
So you don't end up paying way more than you have to.
Right. A lower interest rate, even a small difference, can save you thousands over time.
Especially on a big loan, like a mortgage.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where knowing the difference between simple and compound interest really matters.
So you're not just looking at the numbers on the surface.
Exactly. With a mortgage, it's almost always compound interest.
So those little differences in the rate, they make a big difference in your monthly payments.
And in how much you're paying overall.
Okay, that makes sense. But then on the other side, there's saving and investing.
Ah, yes, the power of compound interest working for you.
That's the exciting part, right?
It is. When you see how those small contributions can grow over time,
It's motivating,
for sure, it's like, planting a tiny seed.
and it turns into a giant tree.
Exactly. Takes time, needs care, but eventually you've got this amazing thing.
Okay, I'm getting the analogy. But what about, like, credit cards?
Oh, credit cards, those are tricky.
Interest rates are usually high, right?
Yeah, and they're calculated daily often.
So even a small balance can grow fast if you're not careful.
Accrued interest, remember. It just keeps adding up.
Which is why they say you should pay off your credit card every month.
If you can, absolutely. Otherwise, you're basically paying interest on your interest.
And that's how debt gets out of control, huh?
It's that snowball effect, but in a bad way.
You can't outrun it forever.
Nope. So, I guess the takeaway is knowing these different types of interests.
It's not just about being good at math.
It's about making informed choices.
Whether you're borrowing, saving, investing.
You're in control. That's the key.
Well said. It's empowering, really, to understand all this.
It is. And remember, it's never too late to learn.
Or to start making those positive changes.
Absolutely.
So everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions.
And keep the deep dive in your feed.
We'll keep bringing you the insights to help navigate the world of finance.
Because it's fascinating once you get into it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
Until next time.